Have you ever wondered how humans get stronger? Have you ever looked at a bodybuilder, someone lifting hundreds of pounds, and wondered, how do they get so strong? Well, today, that's the question I'm going to answer. But before we can answer that, I need to tell you, and you need to understand two important words: emergent properties. Now, what is an emergent property? Well, an emergent property is basically a bunch of smaller systems that all combine together to form a bigger system. Think about it like little pieces of a puzzle. Individually, they are not much, but if you put them all together, you can see the bigger picture. Now, let's dive a little deeper into the actual levels of this emergent property, starting with organism and organ systems. Okay, so this is the broadest and first category, which is organisms and then organ systems. So the organism we're talking about is very simple. It's us, humans, Homo sapiens. We're the ones that are getting stronger, at least in this context. Now, for organ systems, there's a bunch of different organ systems. For example, the circulatory system or the respiratory system, both involved in keeping us alive, which is, you can't really lift weights if you're not alive. Then we also have the musculatory system, which are the ones that are actually getting torn and getting rebuilt. Then we have the skeletal system, which provides a structure for the muscles to actually function. The nervous system, which sends signals from the brain to the muscles to actually lift, to tell them to lift. And then, of course, like the digestive system, which turns the food that we eat into energy to lift and also give us the raw materials to rebuild our muscles. So all those systems go back into the organism and go into the bigger emergent property. So now let's go on to organs. All right, so now we have organs. Now this is a very simple level, right? We have the heart, the lungs, stomach, liver, and muscles. These are all organs that are then part of organ systems, which are then part of the organism and then the overall emergent property. Now let's move on to a little bit more interesting level, tissues. Now it's the tissue level. Now, as you can see, this is a poor drawing of a muscle itself, and there's a lot of different connective muscle tissue. To start off with, we have the epinesium, which is the outer shell, outer layer of the muscle. We also have the endonesium, which acts as a cushion between each of the individual muscle fibers, giving them some barriers between one another. Then we have the perinesium acting as a border and actually splitting up these muscle fibers, into different groups and acting as a border between those groups. As you can see, these little circles are the muscle fibers, and this is what's actually getting stronger when you lift weights and get those microscopic tears. Now, let's move on to the cellular level. Okay, so this is the lowest level of the emergent properties. And now let me quickly explain to you how the body repairs its microscopic tears. Now, so first, satellite cells rush to the wound and start multiplying. Then, through a process called commitment, they transform into mitoblasts. Those mitoblasts, they combine together to form mitotubes. And then those mitotubes become full-fledged muscle fibers, which then get stronger and thicker to adapt to the new workout or to whatever you're doing. Now, I'd like to point out two important proteins in this process: acetine and mitosine. Acetine and mitosine are very important because they make up the muscle fibers, which make up muscle cells and the muscle fibers themselves. So these acetine filaments and mitosine filaments are super and very important. They are actually vitally important to making sure that your muscles get bigger. So now, in conclusion, we've looked at all of the levels of the emergent property. And now it's finally time to answer the question of how do humans get stronger? So, to put it simply, humans get stronger by breaking down our muscles and then rebuilding them stronger than before. Now, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I do hope that you learned something. Thank you very much.